We gotta rush them. We gotta kick them. What we gotta do is get in and get the. All right, let's go. Come on now. Hey, we'll put the bass on.
All right, my people. This is where I'm like Silver Linings Playbook, where I'm trying to muster up some kind of giant wishes before this game. All right, it's 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and I woke up from a night of serious sports. Terrence Crawford against Canelo. It was a great fight. I expected it to be Crawford because Crawford knows how to take you apart piece by piece. I would have liked it if he had to set down Canelo, but Canelo obviously is a great fighter. So obviously there's going to be a rematch. So we look forward to seeing that. Want to say thank you very much to some of my newer subscribers that have come aboard. We're one big New York Giant family. We're one big NFL family. Even if you're not necessarily a New York Giants fan, this is a good channel for you to tune into to get the straight understanding of what's going on in the NFL in a general sense and a very specific sense what's going on with the Giants. All right, I put my little lanyard thing around my neck with a hope that somehow or another the embarrassment and ridiculousness of what has been produced by Team Dabo will somehow in some way make these guys refocus their efforts. And you got to think that if this was ever a moment to win a football game, this is the moment, because in week 2, Dak Prescott is 4-0 coming into week 2, okay? So it doesn't matter who he plays, he almost always wins, all right? They have the expectation to road grade the Giants. Everyone on every channel, on news, on the NFL Network, YouTube, you name it, all is picking the Cowboys. The Giants have enough talent to do something other than what everyone expects them to do. And I need for the coaching staff to put together a game plan that utilizes the tools that they have in their tool chest in a proper way. Wan'Dale Robinson is questionable, which means he'll probably be dressed. Everyone is there. Do what it is that you need to do and do your jobs and do them aggressively. And there's always 2 or 3 games that turn out other than what you expect. And there's enough reasonableness in me to realize that it's not likely that's going to happen, okay? I will admit to that. But I know that it's possible to happen. It's not like the team is at the end of the season, you're hit with a bunch of injuries and there's nothing new that happens. Let's talk about the future of what will occur if the Giants go, let's say, 5-11 instead of the 3-14 or 5-12, however you want to look at that. To me, it's an obvious thing to 86 Shane and Daboll's as a grouping, and then that gives you an opportunity to bring in fresh thinking on the management side and fresh thinking on the coaching side. I've been saying it over and over again. I will continue to say it. I really like the idea of Louis Riddick being a GM for the New York Giants. And I really like the idea of a Mr. Flores that is the defensive coordinator with Minnesota Vikings. And you can see the defense tightened up. They made some changes in the second half. They got the ball back. And JJ was able to get some stuff done. Still not completely convinced on him, but we'll see. This is the printout for week 2 on the various games, and the first game on this list is the Commanders and Green Bay. We saw what happened, and I saw that coming from a mile away. I took Green Bay this week. Jacksonville Jags and Cincinnati Bengals. I'm really leaning towards the Bengals on this thing. I think that Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they're a dynamic duo. The biggest thing is, can the offensive line keep Joe standing upright? That's the biggest thing, because Joe, if I was to work on anything with Joe, I'd be working on speed drills for him to run and get away from the pressure, and not get tackled in the box. But he'll stand there. But the days of that type of quarterback are starting to come to an end. I have to say it, And of course, you have the Giants versus Dallas. But I just, Dallas is a wounded beast without Michael Parsons. And although they have some good players and Dak's a good quarterback, I just feel like with the front four that we got, if the inventive light could come on in the coaching staff, I think the Giants could give Dallas a harder game than what anyone expects. And yeah, I'm a homer. I'm going to admit to that, and it may end up being a complete and utter embarrassment and blowout. But I will say this: if it's a complete, utter embarrassment and blowout, it will mean the very end of the Shane Daboll's era. And you know what? I invite the blowout, because I'm sick of looking at those guys on the sideline, to be honest with you. All right, so now you got the Bears in Detroit. They're all over Caleb. I think Caleb's a great guy, and I hate seeing that. And, I'm always, from a guy who grew up in Illinois, I'm always going to kind of feel a certain way and have a certain kind of warm spot in my heart for the Bears. And I feel like this might be a closer game than what people expect, because, again, you got some people that were there for Detroit. Detroit really didn't look good in their first game. So we'll see. I did take Detroit on the sheet, but in my heart, I'm still with the Bears. All right, so then the Los Angeles Rams versus the Titans. I just still not that convinced on the Titans yet, but so I lean towards the Rams on that. New England Patriots over Miami, definitely, because Miami just looks like they're just a rudderless ship, and this whole little nerdy guy on the sideline with the glasses and shit. I think the whole league is about done, or they figured out what it is that you were doing, and you're kind of exposed. I think part of it is also that Tua, I feel like he's only one hit away from being out of the league. Too many concussions. I feel like he's a little skittish, and I feel badly for him. He seems like a good dude, but I don't see it. Next game is Frisco and the 49ers against Frisco versus the New Orleans Saints. And I definitely see the 49ers. They're going to get a head of steam. The biggest thing I question is they really need to develop that second tight end or even third tight end, because I just don't see George Kittle making it through the whole season. This guy's body is just kind of beat up. You know what I mean? I consider him kind of a Jeremy Shockey type player, where he puts his body on the line and he pays the price for it. And great tight end and a great team guy that gets people fired up. But I don't even know if he's even playing. I'm assuming that he is. Buffalo Bills versus the Jets. Bro, this game with the Ravens was an amazing game. The Ravens had this on lock, and King Henry put that ball on the ground. I feel like I would love to see the Jets give Buffalo a hard time, but I just don't see it. Buffalo has just got too much power. They're going to be all over Fields today, and I think it's going to be a long day for Fields. Seahawks and Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, my girlfriend gives me a hard time about her little boyfriend she loves, Aaron Rodgers. She calls him Aaron Rodgers, whatever. I got to give him due respect. He did a lot more than what I expected him to do. I still think he's one hit away from being out of the league. But having said that, I kind of leaning towards the Steelers at home with Aaron Rodgers. All right, so be that way. Take that as you want to take it, okay? I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, but I got him in a few picks, let's just say. All right, it's the lucky coin. Put it on the Giants helmet. Maybe we can have something magical happen today. Anyway, Cleveland Browns and the Ravens. I expect the Ravens to road grade them. You know, I think that Derrick Henry is going to be so mad about putting that ball on the ground when all he had to do was not let the ball get out and give them a chance to get back into the game. He would have ended up with maybe 187 yards, 200 yards rushing. He had 175. Okay? So, yeah, I expect him to have 150 yards in this game. All right? I like it when they have some design plays that they throw the football to him. You know, where he's kind of like almost in a full run, and then he gets that little pass off to the side, and then he can just get that full steam on the sideline, road grade a few D-backs, and just keep hauling ass downfield. The guy has an amazing workout. When you're running up hills with a parachute on you and a weighted vest, you're a beast. And I expect them to run through them like, what's the old phrase? Crap through a goose. I expect that, all right? Denver Broncos and the Colts, well, you know what? I'm the guy that you can point to and say, Indiana Jones. And I think that even though Denver has got a pretty good defense, and of course, you know, you always expect a coach to come out of the bag with something. I think the Colts are going to pull it off at home against Denver, to be honest with you. And you got Carolina Panthers and Arizona Cardinals next. I like Arizona at home. Of course, the Eagles and KC. You know, when you don't like a team because it's in your division, you don't want to see them do well, obviously. But when you hate a team that is just been like the darlings of the league, the new Patriots, if you will, and that's what KC is, I like the Eagles in this. And I'm always going to root for Saquon. It's just, it was fun rooting for Saquon against Dallas last week. I'm not even going to lie. You know, I had the old 26 on, squinting my eyes, wish he was still in the blue jersey. But it is what it is. Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings. Penix could upset the game here, you know, and we'll see. You know, I lean towards Minnesota on that. Tampa Bay Bucks against Houston. I don't know what's going on with Houston, but it seems like they have lost a step a little bit. So I will lean towards Baker Mayfield, the touchdown maker in this. And then on Monday night, you got the LA Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Now that Coach is there, I have to say that I'm kind of excited. And Ashton Genty, you know, you got Khalil Mack over there with the Chargers that could put some pressure. But I kind of lean towards the Raiders at home. But we'll see. That might be like one of the 3 upset games. And obviously, we want the gold coin, but we want this. Look at that. How about a win? How about a win? How about doing something opposite of everything you've been doing? 6 lousy points is not going to get it done. All right, so let's wake up. Want to give a shout out to my people over there at Firehouse Subs. Let's go, New York Giants. My man over there is a New York Giants fan. Want to say hello to a number of people in my area. I got some spots. My man Nico over there at Sabino's. Of course, my brothers that are over there in downtown Austin, maybe at the Dizzy Rooster this year. I don't know. I was there 2 years ago. I felt like I wouldn't be a good company for my Giants guys that are meeting up down there at the bar. So I'm gonna keep going and hoping for the best. Maybe we can get a couple wins and I could show up down there. Because in the current situation which the Giants are in, if I show up at this bar, I'll be doing so much cursing and screaming that I have to call APD to take my ass out of there. So, better off staying at home, right? Anyway, that's all I got. I just wanted to check in with the people. Really liked some of the comments that I saw off of my latest video. Really appreciate you guys in that. But I wanted to give you a little taste before game time, what I was thinking. More than likely, it won't be up. This video won't be up until after the game is over with. But I just want to check in with you and tell you that I feel like we got a little bit of hope if they can make a mental and systemic adjustment in their game plan. I feel like they got enough guns and tools, if you will. If they use these tools properly, if they pull out the old PVC pipe and smash some heads, maybe we can get a fucking win. All right, so with that said, let's go New York Football Giants. Deuces.